Okay, I'm gonna share my screen. You have to stop right clicking. All right. All right. Hey guys, given the time constraints this year, we combined for 7th, 8th, and 9th graders, which are all my grades for counseling. So let's get started. Important people to know, we have our awesome office staff as well as me, and I'm technically not in the front office, but my office is right across from the nurse's office where Nurse Morgan is. Our 7th grade team, 8th grade. Mr. Saylor hasn't given us a picture to put up yet. We'll have that soon, I'm sure. And our 9th grade team. So for my part, things that I can help with, social emotional learning and development, college and career preparation, academic support. Sometimes that's in one-on-one sessions or small groups, and other times it's in the classroom, which hopefully we'll get to do more of next year. I also have a Calendly link that I send out to students so that they can schedule time with me for quick check-ins or walks or video meetings. And I also wanted to emphasize that it is difficult for me to help if I don't know there's an issue. So trying to make sure that students know that I'm available to them and what I can help with so they know that they can come to me. Things counselors do not do. I don't give advice. I don't tell people what to do. I don't judge their ideas, beliefs, or decisions they've made, share what they've disclosed to me unless it is a safety issue. Handle discipline issues. They're not ever in trouble when they come to see the counselor. I do not do long-term in-depth therapy or clinically diagnosed mental health issues. If that's something that we need help with, then I know where to go and refer to. And I do not claim to be an expert in everything. So the 2021 schedule, we will have our same block schedule as usual. Right now, Wednesdays are fast days. Next year, Fridays will be fast days. So we've got Mondays and Wednesdays as A days, Tuesdays and Thursdays as B days, and Friday will be Fast Friday, where they have all of their classes, and advisory will be during lunchtime. Lunches are split by grade level, which is similar to what we're doing right now on Wednesdays. So for course selection, our 7th grade requirements, they have to have English and math every year. For 7th graders, they'll also have Arkansas history for one semester, and world geography is an entire year. Then science and 2 arts classes. They will also have 1.5 periods to fill with other elective courses. This could be a semester of PE if they're not in a biking, basketball, cross country, or a dance class. So if they are signed up for a sport with the school, that can count as their PE credit. But if not, they can be in regular PE. Some students choose PE every semester just to have that extra activity, and that's okay too. 8th grade requirements are very similar. They do have to take a semester of health and a semester of Aspire. These are state requirements. So they typically have less options for electives in 8th grade because they have so many requirements that they have to have. So they will have the 2 arts classes and then health and Aspire. And if they didn't get PE in 7th grade, they will need it in 8th. They have to have it every year. I don't think so, right? PE?
No.
Okay.
They just need 1 semester of PE in high school.
Just double checking. All right. So our 9th grade requirements, they have to have a math and an English and 2 arts classes every single year. Typically, 9th graders will take Algebra 1, Physical Science, U.S. History, and English. This is our student success plan. We did have an information night just about the student success plan a few weeks ago. We will do that with 8th graders all the way through high school. So if your student is a 7th grader and they haven't talked to you about this yet, that's because they haven't done it yet. I will get my 8th graders started in the fall. It is really more about high school requirements and graduation and planning for after high school. So we don't want to overwhelm our 7th graders and get them started a little too early. If it's something you want me to talk to your students about, or you want them to just come talk to me about potential electives, I am always happy to, but they won't have a success plan until 8th grade. Choosing classes for next year. Everyone should have gotten the message today about how to choose classes, and it should be open on Wednesday. If they need a success plan and they don't have one yet, they can email me or schedule with me through the Calendly link. The instructions for the eSchool Home Access Center will be sent out. The finalized schedules will be available in June. If there are any students that don't select classes on eSchool, it will be selected for them based on the typical grade requirements and what classes they've already had. Oh. Have some people join. All right. So the next 3 slides will go over some things for high school students, meaning 9th grade specifically. These are the graduation requirements that were represented on the success plan example that I gave. So 4 units of English, 4 units of math, 3 units of science and history, 2 units of a foreign language. Then they need oral communications, PE, health, and a digital learning class. Those are each a semester long, and 6 units of electives. We say units instead of years because it doesn't all have to be done in the same year. So for instance, if a student gets behind in algebra or comes to us and is missing a math credit, then they could potentially have 2 units of math in the same year. That's right. Would you like to talk about the SMART core requirements?
Sure. So there are 2 routes to a diploma in the state of Arkansas. There's the SMART Core Diploma and the General Core Diploma. A SMART Core Diploma means that your student will be taking math higher than Algebra 2. So they're taking algebra, geometry, and Algebra 2, and then they're taking some form of math that's higher than that Algebra 2. And for science, they're taking physical science, biology, and chemistry. So that's really the only difference between a SMART Core Diploma and a General Core Diploma. In a General Core Diploma route, you can max out at Algebra 2 or at 4 credits of math, period. And then in science, you would be taking environmental science instead of the chemistry. Both are recognized as diplomas in the state of Arkansas. One is a more college-ready course than the other. The 2 units of foreign language is a local credit that we require for our high school students. And we do that because there are several scholarships offered by the state of Arkansas that are easy to qualify for, but they require 2 units of the same foreign language. So we never want a student to get to their senior year without taking that and then not be able to qualify for a scholarship because they weren't aware of that requirement. It is something that I can and have waived on a case-by-case basis in a conversation with students and parents. Other than that, the 2 diploma pathways are the same. Are there any questions about that?
Sorry. Okay, couldn't figure out the mute. What is digital learning?
So digital learning was created as a graduation requirement before schools were using one-to-one devices. So to qualify as a digital learning class, at least 25% of the class has to be taught through a computer. meaning that they're using Google Classroom or something like that. So all of our classes currently qualify as digital learning classes because a student is using Google Classroom as their content management system for every class on campus. So that's a requirement that we still have to put there because technically the state still requires it, but they're going to meet it just by taking their normal classes. Do 8th graders have to take PE if they took PE in 7th grade? The answer is yes. The state of Arkansas requires PE for all students every year in grades kindergarten through 8th grade. Once you get to high school, you only have to have a semester of PE across your 4 years of high school. Mountain biking does count towards the PE requirement for 8th grade.
It's just one semester.
It's just one semester in each grade level.
Okay. So credit recovery and promotion, this is for high school students only, so 9th graders. We had more 9th graders than usual struggling this year, what with COVID and virtual school and the back and forth. It's been a really tough year. I say that to say that I don't want anyone to panic. These kids are going to get their credits, and we have lots of different ways to make that up, especially with them only being in 9th grade. Typically, by the time a student gets to their junior and senior year, they don't have very many credits left to get. So if they have a few they need to make up, or they failed a class either one semester or the whole year, we will build that into their schedule. They can do credit recovery through an online program that we use. It's $30 per semester and it's online. So they would log in, do the assignments and turn them in for credit. There is not a teacher there. So if it's a subject that they struggled in, we suggest that they retake it here at school with a teacher. And we have ways to fit that in if we need to. And these are the credits that they need to move on. So to be a sophomore, they have to have at least 6 credits. They should have more than that, but at least 6. GPA calculations and class rankings. Again, this is only for high school. So if you have a student that's kind of struggled in 7th and 8th grade, that is not going to affect their high school GPA unless they were taking a high school class. Every grade earned per semester is calculated into the GPA. AP courses are weighted more heavily, meaning it can boost their GPA if they are taking AP courses. So something to talk about with your 9th graders for next year if they are interested in that. Extracurricular opportunities. Students can start clubs. All they need is a sponsor and a place to meet. There will be forms available for new clubs. We had less this year than usual for obvious reasons, but the student council created a website for our club. So if that's something that you and your student want to look over and see what is available to them, here's just an example of some. I imagine there will be more reappearing next year. All right, so that is all we have for the presentation. So we'll open it up for questions.
Okay, so I'm going to go back through the chat and answer a few questions that we missed. What about archery? So archery does not count as a PE because it doesn't happen for an entire semester. Usually Coach Green starts in late October, early November, and then continues through February, but there's not enough time there to count towards the hours for PE credit. So we can't grant PE credit for archery, although we do love our archers, Ms. Fogg, especially those that head to nationals. Health is in addition to PE for 8th grade. That's correct. They have to have a semester of health in addition to their PE credit for 8th grade. My daughter wants to make sure she takes calculus in high school. Would this require her to double up on math 1 year? Do you really need to take both trig and pre-calc? You do not need to take both trig and pre-calculus. Trigonometry is a pre-calculus class. It's just one that's focused on the trigonometry side of that course rather than the calculus side, but both will prepare them for calculus AB. So if you take Algebra 1 as an 8th grader and Geometry as a freshman, then Algebra 2 as a sophomore, pre-calculus or Trigonometry as a junior, then you're set up to take Calculus AB as a senior without having to double up ever. We do have a couple of kids who want to double up to take so that they can get to Calculus BC, because that would be an additional calculus class beyond the AB class. But that's just a very few kids who want to be engineers, basically. Is doubling up on math really a good idea ever? So geometry and algebra 2 are two courses that go well hand in hand. One is the very applicable side of math because they're working with shapes and structures, and the other is the more abstract side of that same math. So we've had a lot of success with kids taking geometry and algebra 2 at the same time. That being said, we don't recommend it for freshmen who took algebra 1 in 8th grade. Unless they very clearly are on a track to take BC. We've had a couple of kids who decided to double up and then they want to be done with math after their sophomore year. And that's not a track that we recommend, especially if you're headed to college, because then it will have been 2 years since you've seen a difficult math course. And that's not setting you up for success on the ACT or in college. So unless they have met with a counselor and with me and said, this is the route that I want to take, I want to be a civil engineer or a biomechanical engineer and architect, and I want to take Calculus BC, we don't recommend doubling up in 9th grade. Are there any other questions? Do all 7th graders need to take key code? I would prefer that all 7th graders take key code because that way they don't have to take it in 8th grade. They do have to have it one of those years. So key code is a combination keyboarding and coding class. So it's taught by Mr. Farmer, and it will be both a combination of keyboarding skills, so how we type and type well, and then also some coding to set them up for success in computer science classes. The state just released this year that starting next year, 8th graders can take computer science classes for high school credit in 8th grade. But they're going to need some beginning coding skills before they're ready to do that. So taking it as a 7th grader sets them up for that. I didn't include that on the screen. Are there any other questions? So they are listed in the PowerPoint from tonight that will be posted as part of the presentation and also posted separately as just a PDF of the PowerPoint. And then the 6th grade team has a list of classes that 7th graders are required to take along with those that they can take. And the 7th graders here will be given a list of these are the classes that all 8th graders have to take, and then these are the things that you can choose from. So they will have a sheet of paper with that information on it. What creative writing class is the follow-up to Wonder Cabinet? If you're staying with Miss Wenzel on the transdisciplinary route, Wandering Cloud is the next class after Wonder Cabinet. Her classes have fun names. They do. There's also a whole track with creative writing through Miss Spalter, so the intro to creative writing and things like that. Yes, ma'am, that sheet will be made available to virtual students as well. You're welcome. So on Wednesday, as the ability to request courses opens up, you'll get an email from me with screenshots of exactly where you're looking in eSchool if you're a current student, so that you'll know exactly where to click to see the course requests and to fill them out. And then if you have any issues at all, you're welcome to call the school and we'll be happy to help you walk through that process. If you haven't been able to log into the Home Access Center, please call or contact our tech support team so that they can make sure that they help you get logged in. If you are brand new to our district and you've never been a student here before, you're going to be receiving a Google form where you will pick which grade your student is in, and then you will only see the classes that are available for that grade. And then we'll tally that in, and as soon as we get you in the system, we'll be building your schedule from there. Are there any additional questions? Anything else that Ms. Thomas or I can help with? All right, thank you so much for attending. We're going to make sure that this recording gets posted so you can go back and rewatch it if you want to, along with the presentation. You're welcome to email myself, hwright@artsk12.org, or Ms. Thomas, tthomas@artsk12.org if you have any questions, and we'll be happy to answer them and to help set up your kid for success next year. Have a wonderful evening, everyone. Ms. Cooper, did you have any additional questions?
Mr. And no, I was trying to figure out how to exit the meeting.
I'm sorry.